You guys all know me, so you know what who I am. Anyway, for those that might be listening or hearing the replay, I'm Becky Amble with Future Focus, and I work a lot with companies that want to grow their businesses and use AI as an assistant to do that. Anyway, here is the code. Hey, Kaki, thanks for coming. And if you want, I just thought maybe it would be helpful to have a way to organize your thoughts. So I made this mini little workbook for you to download. So, I would encourage you to do that. If you like just paper and pen, like I do sometimes, do whatever works for you. But I made this, so I hope somebody's gonna think it's worth checking out. All right. So again, you all know me, and maybe those that are watching the replay won't know me. So I'll just do a little background. Or my background has primarily been as a strategic marketing leader. So I've worked a lot with startups, turnarounds, launching businesses, launching products, anything to figure out what we need to do to increase our revenue and profits for a product line or for the entire company. And I was thinking about that a little bit this morning. And I don't know about the rest of you here. I'm more of a idea starter, get it going, make it run, and then I like to move on because I know when I started the finance company, I think I was there 2 or 3 years, and I thought, okay, got it started up, best startup in history, repaid our startup money, did all this great stuff, everybody's happy, we're humming along. And then I thought, well, now what am I going to do? So I'm not one of those maintenance people. Unfortunately, it'd probably be great if I was more of a maintenance person or could combine that. I'm generally one of those that's going to do more of let's figure out what we need to do to grow, then let's get it done, and then I'm ready for the next challenge. Hi, Tanya. Thanks for joining us. Tanya, I just met last night, and she's just a really cool person, and she is an ambassador for Lovable. And I thought, oh,
Oh,
I've only
oh,
met two other ambassadors,
wow.
one for Lovable and one for Design. And what that means is she does a ton of apps and she's on their inner circle. And so kind of fun to have her join us this morning as well. Anyway, you guys know the rest of the story, or if you don't, you can read it. And what I would like to cover this morning, and I want it to be interactive, so I hope you will put some comments in the chat, is here's what I want to do. I want to talk a little bit about why do we even do content? What reasons do you have? And then before we move on, oh, Tanya, here's something. I made a mini workbook. If you want to use the QR code, you can grab that and print it off, or it's a PDF, so I suppose you probably can't download it and fill it in on your computer. Anyway, back to this. And then I want you to set your own specific goal or objective, and I'm going to encourage you to have one. And then I share with you what I call my 3x3 matrix or 3x3 model. And I can put together a 40 to 50 page marketing plan that lays out all the specific detail of who's doing what, when they're doing it, all that kind of stuff. Because frankly, once you get down to the tactical level, it gets pretty detailed. And yet, I want to offer this approach to you to keep things simple, because sometimes we spin our wheels and make things more complicated than it needs to be. And that's why sometimes we don't get stuff done, because we're just sitting there going, oh, where do I start? And I have to have all of this figured out. I need to have my roadmap. Well, you know what? You can get started with 3 ideas, and I'm going to show you how to do that and then take those 3 ideas to the next level. And it really is for anybody that is doing content, especially if you're an individual, it really has to do with what is your level of expertise? What are you good at? And when you think about it that way, you go, oh, well, I'm good at, a whole bunch of stuff. Well, all you need to do is identify 3 things you're good at. And that's what we're going to work on. And then from that, you can branch out. And hopefully you'll see this as a simple process too. That's my goal. So let me stop here for a minute. And just if you would, um, drop in the box, in the chat box, what do you think are some reasons for doing content? And let's see what people have to say. We'll just take, like maybe 30 seconds. So if you will. Okay, great. Reach a larger audience. And Warsa, thank you for being here. I didn't see you come in. Okay. Generate leads, brand growth, lead magnet, attract. Oh, and Janet, thank you for being here. And branding. Okay, lots of great ideas. Let's just see. My content is my art. Oh, Jeff, you are here. Awesome. Yes, Jeff is an artist. Used to be an architect and decided to just be a full-time artist. Drive web traffic. Jim, good to see you. And Chris, yay, marketing and event. Yes, Chris and her colleague Regina do a bunch of events and they do them really, really well. We just had a podcast together yesterday. Awesome. Well, let's see what our expert AI told us were some ideas. And this, hopefully you can see this. I know we get that Zoom little video thing sometimes cluttering up what we're looking at. And I thought this was really interesting. See if you can find your comment on here. And it depends where we're coming from, why we're doing content, right? So there's a list of ideas. If you're a consultant, it's generally going to be something like this: credibility, authority, top of mind, shorten sales cycle. I know I saw that from one of our consultants on here. Build relationships. I saw connection listed. If you're an entrepreneur, okay, you're probably about getting out there and building your business. So you can see that visibility for your brand, or I would say your company, your organization. Attract investors or partners. Now that's a thought, isn't it? Some of us, if we're entrepreneurs, we're probably like, oh, yeah, haven't thought about that. Clarifying your mission and sharing it. Again, if you're actually a consultant or an entrepreneur, depending on what I think is, if you're in more of a service business and dealing with people on that service business level, then I think content and mission is important. However, if you're selling to a big company like 3M or Polaris or anything like that, I think mostly they want to know, what result are you getting me? They probably don't really care if you have a certain value or mission, other than probably wanting to make sure you're honest and all that. Differentiation is a key thing. And I would say maybe that comes up for consultants as well. And then if you're an employee, hey, just because you have a job working for a different organization, or you're an employee, doesn't mean that you don't want to do something in content. So for a lot of people, a personal brand, and a lot of you are, I know, very astute and probably network within your organizations, because that's an important part too. We still have to be known where we are employed. So anyway, there's a lot of ideas there. I just wanted to share that with you. And on your, if you're using the handy dandy little mini workbook, probably I should go back to that quickly. All right, for those of you that came in maybe a couple minutes late, here's a QR code if you want to get the mini workbook, because I thought maybe it would be helpful to have a way to organize your thoughts. So you can grab that and print it off. And I just made it into a PDF this morning. And now I'm thinking, oh, if I would have left it as a Word doc, you could have probably just opened it and typed in your answers. So now you'll have to print it, unless you have the skills and the software to open a PDF. All right. Anyway, now I want to give you just a minute to be thinking about your particular goal. And I would say there's on the sheet, where you can write down your personal reasons. And what I encourage you to think about right now is, that question mark doesn't show up. There we go. Is to think about, who is your audience or your target market? Who do you want to get to? Because that affects how we're going to approach this, and a little bit about how you tailor your content. I think you're still going to come up with ideas for your content. It's how you deliver it probably gets a little bit tweaked depending on your target audience. So let's just like do 30 seconds here and come up with your goal and your target audience. So like anybody that maybe came in late, I said, I really want this to be more of a working session. So when we're done with this, you don't just go, oh, well, yeah, oh, that was interesting. You actually have something that you can work with. So Bob, it looks like you might be. Well, you're not in the car, are you? Okay. Whoops. Okay. That was 30 seconds. And if you would anybody like to share? What are some
I'll share.
things? Yeah,
I'll
go
share.
ahead, Tacky.
So I did an exercise like this in 2020 with Kathleen Crandall, and it's to come up with the three things that I'm known for, so that when I'm talking to people, I can say I do this, 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 and this. And so my three things are, first of all, I'm a creative problem solver and a strategic thinker. When that happens, people come together. I've got my other three bullets under that. Second, I'm somebody who is a um, trusted confidant and a sought out influencer. So I'm good at building those relationships and making sure that they're strong. And then finally, I drive results. So when I'm going through a process with an organization, I've always got my eye on the end goal, and I'm really, really good at pattern recognition and focus.
Oh,
Those are my superpowers, right?
yeah.
And my relationship building. And so those three things are usually the context in which I put it when I explain, here are the things that I'm known for and what I do. And when it comes to, you know, writing or putting together content for my blog, it's pretty much all of the things that were on your list, right? In a lot of ways, because it is authority, it's credibility, it's, what do you know? It's talking to a broad array of people that include hiring managers as well as leaders, as well as change managers and project people and people that are curious about AI and maybe a little unoptimistic, because I tend to be an AI
Pessimistic. Yeah.
optimist, pessimistic that, yeah. So I tend to be an AI optimist. And so when I'm writing stuff about AI, I'm writing from that perspective to just kind of ask questions that are like, oh, well, what if you thought about it like this? Or what if we framed it like this instead of this? Sort of a thing. So
Yeah, yeah. That's great. You're actually ahead of us. You're like at the very end of where we're going today. So,
no, that's good. It's always good I want to hear what people have to say.
yeah, yeah, that's great. So, anybody want to either type in or share who is your audience, your target market, and have you been able to zero in on one goal of what you want to have your content do? So, either put it in the chat, or if you want to raise your hand or just start talking, unmute yourself and give us a quick little comment here, and then we will move on.
Sure, I'll do, because Becky, I'd love your feedback on this, because I'm just starting to formulate. So my target audience, I put it in the chat too, or I was going to put it in the chat, but women who consider themselves non-technical, but are curious to kind of overcome their fear and start learning together.
I
And
think
then
that sounds great.
is that clear enough? Okay. And
Yeah,
then
the only thing that's hard is finding them, because you can find people demographically, but you can't find them psychographically. So it's going to be in your messaging that you would probably target women, and then by your messaging, they self-select.
yes, right. That's helpful. Okay, that's really helpful.
Because I've had
So
that challenge before where it's like, you want to find a certain age group that's ready to retire, and then they need help getting their business in shape. And you go, well, how do you do a search on that? You have
right.
to go after the age group, and probably, so with yours, you're going to have to target women, probably in general, and then by your content, funnel them down.
We'll find them. Okay, we'll find it themselves or through a
Yeah, they'll
funnel.
self-select. So, I mean,
Okay,
that's the other thing. You don't want people coming to you that don't fit. So if they say, oh,
100%.
that's not me, good, because you don't need to talk to them,
Right, right,
but
right,
maybe they
right,
know somebody.
right.
Okay, awesome. If we could go on, move on. Thank you for sharing. Bob, do you want to share yours, or Chris, do you want to, either one of you want to share? And thank you for putting your ideas in the chat box. Either of you want to say anything? Otherwise, we can move on.
No, just looking for clients that are at an inflection point, SMBs, tech, manufacturing, that kind of thing. Basically need to get them out of their own way So,
Yeah.
so that's what I do.
So yours can also, Bob, be in the messaging, and you probably have some industries that you found that work in certain sizes and some things, and you're probably targeting CEOs, are you?
CRO, C-suite, basically, CRO, CSO, senior sales
Okay.
leader.
So, you're a little better situation for being able to search when you've got that criteria. So I think you can search them out through a database service, a lead gen service, or using LinkedIn. Cool.
That's-
Okay.
And I got to run. Sorry, I got to.
Okay. We'll see you, Bob. Thanks for coming as long as you could be here.
Bye-bye.
All right, let's move on then. The next thing I want you to do is, let me see here. Let me get back to my screen. Hold on a minute. And as far as I know, I can't see your chat box unless I'm not in the share mode. So that's why I'm popping back and forth. So what I want to share with you is a perfect example of what Kaki told us about. And some of you know about the rule of three, and some of you don't. Anyway, the rule of three is that three is the magic number of what people can remember. That's why we do it. And a fascinating study, if you want to Google this or find it online, is that there was research done by the Marines, and they gave 3 orders to people. They went out, they were successful. They gave 4 orders. Marines went out, a bunch were killed. So, I mean, it's pretty doggone dramatic. And when we understand some of the brain function and all that, it's easy for us to then say, well, why don't we use what the brain is already geared toward? So here's step 1. Your name, and then 3 areas that you are known for, that you're an expert in, that people ask you about. And this isn't the time for humble pie or anything like that. And you undoubtedly, I would say, know the 3 ideas. And as you can see on your little worksheet, this is on page 2. Oh, and I was just going to mention, if you've been around me much, I like index cards, and I have multiple sizes and multiple colors. So sometimes also it's really helpful to put things on an index card, partly because they're a different size and you got to keep track of them. And it forces you to be concise because there's only so much room on an index card. So sometimes some of us need some discipline to not get too verbose. And where we're going to go is to do something like this. And on page 2 of your worksheet, if you're actually using that, you can see it's got 3 columns. And the first one is for your 3 ideas, and then each subtopic. So just to give you an idea of where we're going, what I want you to do first is think of those 3 main things that you are good at, that you're known for. So let me give you a minute to do that. And again, I want people to end the time that we have together with something they've actually got ready to go. And as you get that ready, if you want to put your 3 areas of that magnificent expertise in the chat box, and even if you don't think it's magnificent, it probably is. All right, I'm going to go over here so I can see the chat box. If you don't mind, I would love to hear what your thoughts are on your 3, if you want to call them superpowers like Kaki does, your 3 areas of expertise. Write those down because you've got at least 3. All righty, 4 seconds and we are done. Okay, cool. All right. At least put your hand up. Oh, come on. Or my timer's beeping. Okay, if you can put your hand up, I'm going to change my screen a little bit here. Just put your hand up if you've got your 3. Come on, Jeff. John, how about you? Okay, awesome. Okay, we're just going to have a special session for you, John. I mean, Jeff. Okay, and if you would put them in the chat box. Okay, maybe I'll just read them off. Tanya, she's using Lovable, which is an AI for building apps. I think it has some other functions too. I can't remember. I've been over looking at it so many times, I don't even remember anymore. Anyway, but here's her 3. Product, using Lovable, teaching people or actually doing it for them. Product strategy, inspiring others. Hey, those sound great. And John, process improvement. Oh yeah, John, you are the master at process, digital transformation and program management. Okay, seems pretty clear. Chris, she's got problem solving, process creation, and event planning. And Christian has leadership, operations, and business growth. And Jeff, did you want to take a stab at it? Okay, so Jeff is an artist and he does magnificent paintings. And so here he has zeroed in on 3 subject matters that he paints. All right, cool. All right, now what I want you to do is go to the next level, and that's where you take each of your main topics. And again, if you're using the little handout, you'll see it's set up like a table. There's not a ton of room for writing. So if you need more space, you might need to grab another piece of paper or something. So here's what you want to do. Take one topic at a time, and then come up with 3 subtopics that branch out from that. And by the time you're done with this, you're going to have a total of 12 topics of things that you could make content on. So let me give you 2 minutes to do that. And then as you're done, if you would post in the chat box, and if everybody's super speedy, then we can stop earlier. All right. And I don't actually know if I was sharing my screen there. I don't know if I was. So hold on a quick minute. I'll get that back up here. So if I didn't have that up, this is what it looks like. But in essence, you're going to have your 3 main things, and then you're going to have 3 branches come off of each one that gets you into a subtopic or a more detailed topic. And Khaki, thanks for being here. I know you've already been through this exercise.
No, well, it's always good to hear it because I'm thinking of other things like, mine is really long, but, in a short sentence, I create context and clarity for leaders to help, or no, I help leaders create context and clarity for end users going through changes as organizational change management, right?
Right. Okay,
So
awesome.
that's my short thing. And then my bullets for each of them are things like, empowering people to be part of a solution, right? Reducing costs, all that kind of stuff.
As everybody's finishing theirs up, and we'll chatter a little bit here in the background, did anything new come up? Have you added anything, or did you delete anything? Specifically, I'm asking you, Khaki.
Well, I think that I kind of already have them broken down. So like, for example, I'm a creative problem solver. My strategic thinking and insights means that people are empowered to be part of the solution. People and process challenges get resolved, and my solutions reduce cost and drive growth. That's kind of my first
Okay.
bullet.
Okay. So, I was just curious if you were kind of revisiting some of those, and if anything kind of moved in the meantime.
I think what kind of moved is before I say that, I always, the thing about I help leaders create context and clarity for people who are impacted by changes in organizations.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And and I do that by XYZ. And then here are the 3 things that I'm known for.
Okay. We're running a little tight on time here. Is everybody in good shape? Okay. All right. Okay. I'm seeing thumbs up. I want to show you something just in case you get stuck, because sometimes that happens. All right. So I want to get over here. Come on. All right. Now, what you hopefully can see on my screen is my chat GPT. Can you see that?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So here's something I want to show you. And you can do this on the free account or on the paid account. So over here on the left, there's something that says explore. It's GPTs, and then it says the word explore. So hit that. Well, I'm just going to show you how to do it. And then what you would do is you go to Whimsical. and it should already know I'm coming. Whimsical diagrams. This does mind maps.
Oh,
And so
nice.
here's one thing that you can do, and I'm going to tell it to create a mind map. Okay, so I said create a mind map of 3 areas of expertise that I can use for content and then expand that. So I'm going to quickly go find this, hopefully. Yeah, this is when your computer runs too slow and you get annoyed. All right, so let's just go to this. And what I did, because in my world, and if it's somebody in this group, you gotta get this started as I'm blabbering here. Come on. So hit your little arrow to get that going. What you can do also is you can just copy your LinkedIn or give it a resume. And I thought, well, there's a lot of people here that probably are like, well, I've been doing a resume for a while. So I went and copied my about section and my experience, because my about section is more current than my experience in a sense. So anyway, you go through this, you have to hit allow. And next thing you're going to see, I'm going to move that. Hopefully you can see without my little miniature thing here. Okay, look at how fast that was. Content pillars, AI strategy and innovation, business growth and turnaround. Okay, so it only gave me 3. Content creation and thought leadership. And then it breaks it down. It usually will give you 3 to 5 subtopics. So if you get stalled out and you're like, oh, I just can't think. How come it's not coming to me? I should know this stuff, blah, blah, blah. Go check this out and see. And I've used this. Christian might have seen this when I've done talks for people job hunting, and I'll go through this process and I'll say, tell me what jobs I can apply for. Anyway, so there's just another tool. Or if you want to do it just to see what it comes up with and see if it kind of agrees with what you came up with, that's a thought for you as well.
That's great. Did you create that custom GPT, or
No,
was it
no,
already there? Oh,
it's an existing one. So all you have to do is go to that Explore and type in whimsical diagram,
awesome.
and it'll come up, and you have to do, just a little bit of connecting stuff with it.
Great for
Okay,
people who
so,
are visual thinkers. Great. Thank you.
yeah. So we're at a wrap up. I was just going to finish sharing. Okay. Of course, I'm going slow. Let me get back here and wrap us up and get back to this. Okay. So you've got that. You've got your handout. And then I just wanted to, if anybody wants to know, there's my journals, and my map book, actually Design Your Destiny, is using mind maps to create the future you want. So I kind of say, think about this as climbing that wall one step at a time. And if we look at it and say, I can do this, it's manageable. Here I am with the shark. And hey, content doesn't have to be that scary. This is a great white shark. Of course, this is AI. I wasn't really in the water with that beast, because I probably would be too chicken to ever do that. And then here's all my books if you're interested on AI that I've written. And if you want to schedule a time to work on some stuff or whatever, let me know. And I also, okay, there I am in my Taekwondo uniform. And there's a QR code for my books if anybody wants to do that. And also let me know if you're not on my free weekly AI tip and you want to be, send me an email, get me on LinkedIn, whatever. I think some of you are already on that, but Tanya, since we just met, you're probably not on that. Anyway, any quick last minute questions or anything? Because we are at time.
This was great. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Loved
Yeah.
it.
Yeah,
Thank you.
good. And like I said, I mean, it's simple. And sometimes I'm sure I'm not the only one that can get stuck in a circle or overcomplicate things. I'm like, no, come on, 3 ideas. How hard is that? And then from that, the next 3. So I hope to be sharing some other ideas. That won't be until November, because I'm going to be tied up and out of the country, and probably not going to count on my computer working very well on a Zoom meeting when I'm out of the country. So thank you so much for coming. Appreciate your time and being here. And for sure, let me know if there's anything you need.
Thank you, Becky, and
Thank
happy
you, Becky.
travels.
Thanks, Becky.
Yeah. Good to see
Thank you
all
for
of you. Thank
hosting.
you for coming.
Thanks.
Hey.
All right.
Thank you very much. Take care.
Bye.
Okay.
Yeah.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.